We're really excited that you all are here joining us for our session. We're the Education Abroad Office, and we are here to share with you about what opportunities are available to you through our office, to share a little bit about what we do, hopefully get you excited about some potential options for you, and get you an opportunity to start thinking about what you might want to do with your time at SU, which we hope includes maybe an education abroad experience. So I'm joined by my two colleagues, Kirsty and Jen. We'll do intros in just a second, but we are the Education Abroad Office. So thanks for joining. So the Education Abroad Office at CLU is here to help you through all of the phases of what it would be to pursue an education abroad or study abroad experience. And we've kind of broken that into three phases. Exploration phase, where you're exploring the different options available to you. There's tons and tons of programs out there that look very different, go to places all over the world. And so we are here to help you figure out what it is that you might want to do, as well as what the best fit would be for you for a program based on your academic, personal, professional, cultural goals. And then after you've chosen a program, we're here to help you prepare. So that includes applying to your program, getting all of your documentation in order, getting ready for some of the logistical pieces, things like courses, all of that. As well as an orientation that we provide each term for our students who are getting ready to go abroad, where they learn about different resources available to them, different suggestions for keeping yourself healthy and safe so that you can have a successful time abroad. And then the final phase that we identify is the reintegration phase, which is when you are finished your program abroad and you're coming back to SU and you're figuring out like how to use those lessons that you learned, figuring out what's next. So we have different events where we connect you with other returning students, resources to help you think about how to talk about it in a resume or a job application, for example. Or maybe if you want to go abroad again, either at SU or in your post-grad life. So those are the three phases that we're here to be with you. And so that is a little bit of an overview of the office. So like I mentioned, I'm here with my team. My name is Dario, and I work with all of our faculty-led programs. So programs where you're traveling abroad with your SU faculty members. That's the majority of my program the programs that I work with. I studied abroad in Australia as an undergraduate student in Sydney. And so in my little blurb there, those are some of the things that you could talk to me about, some of the things that I identify with. So happy to connect with any students on anything, but especially those things in this file. So next I will have my colleague Kirsty introduce.
Hi, I'm Kirsty, and I'm an advisor and interim director of our office. I advise students with the last names A through L. So if your last name starts with A through L, then I am your advisor, and I'm really excited to meet you. Start planning for your studies abroad. I guess I can also share, we all are alumni of CLU too, so we're here to chat about your study abroad plans, but also just the student experience. We all have experience either living or working abroad. I studied abroad in Madagascar as an SU student, so happy to talk about that too.
And hi, I'm Jen. I'm the other advisor. I advise students with the last names M through Z. And unlike my colleagues, I did not study abroad because I didn't do proper planning. I ended up working abroad after I graduated. So, just come talk to us, see if it's an opportunity. If you can't fit it in your undergraduate experience, there's always other opportunities afterwards as well. But ideally, we find a good time for you to go abroad during your undergrad time. So, yeah. Oh, I worked abroad in Japan. Cool. We'll hand it back to Dario.
Great. Okay, so one of the next thing you want to do is a quick poll. So this is to get some information from you all, kind of see what you all are interested in. So if you scroll over that QR code, which I feel like we're all really accustomed to doing these days, it will pull up a link to a Mentimeter site. So go ahead and do that. If you have any issues or questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. I'm monitoring the chat as well. So Shoot. See if our results have started to pull. Okay. So the first thing we wanted to do is just kind of get a sense of the different majors that you all might be representing, or the different colleges if you don't know your exact major yet. So it looks like the majority of the folks are here from the College of Arts and Sciences, or that's where you plan to be for your time at SU. And then the other portion of folks are from the College of Science and Engineering. So great options across all of our different colleges at the university. So we try and identify academic programs that have academics that fit all of the different majors, or as many as we can. And so we'll continue to talk to you about the academic piece, but excited to see some of y'all in the room. And then the next slide should be to asking you if there's any places that you know you'd like to study. Are folks able to submit to the, oh, here we go. Great. Bhutan, Colombia, Italy, Philippines. Great. Some really cool places that you all have identified. I'm happy to report that there are programs that we can find for you in all of these different places. We have programs throughout pretty much every single continent, except for Antarctica, I suppose. And so we try and explore options, or help students explore options to them. Obviously, the location is a really big piece of that for a lot of students, but something that we also think about are like we said, the academic piece, what other goals you might have. So it's great having a couple of a location of interest. And then from there, that can just be one of the factors that we use to help you narrow down the program. So we'll go into more about our programs in a little bit and give you some information on how to find different programs, look at what they offer, and get excited about them in that way. Okay, next slide. So wanting to see if you have any hesitations about studying abroad. We know it can be a lot to think about, so want to get a sense of maybe what some of your hesitations are at this stage. Okay. It looks like the one that has the most selections is the financial piece. That's definitely a very common thing that all students are thinking about. We definitely understand that. And so we'll talk about some of the financial resources and just components of education abroad, and how we can help you navigate those things through different program options, scholarships, financial aid, all of that. So it's certainly something that we are well equipped to talk to you about. Courses and credits, those are also big pieces. That's important to us as well. We want to make sure that you're not only just having a great experience abroad and choosing somewhere that's exciting and fun to you, but also something that's going to help you advance in your degree so you're graduating on time or in your selected time frame. Other things I see, completing degree, similar to credits, logistical hurdles, we definitely can relate to that. Safety, of course, and then being away. So some of these things we'll talk about in this presentation to hopefully address some of those concerns, but also please come to us with when you're meeting with us. And we're, like I said, we're very accustomed to talking through these different challenges. And so one of the biggest pieces that we recommend is just working with us early on, because a lot of these can be overcome with just early planning. So we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Okay, so those are our the three questions from our poll. So thank you for sharing. And like I said, we'll address a lot of those in our presentation today. So wanted to give you just a broader sense of global engagement at Seattle University. We are all staff, as you said, in the Education Abroad office, and that's just one way that Seattle U has a commitment to global engagement. Part of our mission at the university is to empower leaders for a just and humane world. And so we definitely are one piece of that puzzle that is geared at reaching that goal. But there's also other places on campus that we like to highlight as ways that you can engage with global concepts, global communities, all while you're here at SU. Seattle U has a division of global engagement. And so these are different areas on campus like ours that are focused on globally minded and engaged students. And so obviously education abroad is one big piece of that. We hope that all students consider thinking about taking their education abroad. You can study abroad, but you could also do internships abroad, or you can do research, or even non-credit immersion experiences often look like service work. So there's definitely different ways that education abroad plays out. And so we try and help you explore all those options. Another piece is through our faculty in the classroom. So we have faculty from all over the world who are here teaching in the various academic departments. And so that's a great way to learn from folks who have different worldviews, different cultural backgrounds and upbringings. Those are really important to a fruitful, diverse group of folks in the classroom. So our faculty are great partners in that. Related to that is our curriculum. So the University Core, which is a set of courses that pretty much all students have to take at the university, regardless of what their major is. One module of that, the third module, are courses that are all focused on global issues, global challenges, global perspectives. And so even if students aren't studying abroad or doing something abroad, you're still going to have courses that have global themes to them and global foci. So that's one way that you'll be able to engage globally. The next piece is what we call the local global. One really exciting thing about our university is just where we're located in the city of Seattle. Seattle is a very international city. People come from all over the world to live here, to work here, to study here. And then our campus itself is just located right up the street from the International Chinatown District, which is a historical neighborhood in the city that has been the home for lots of different immigrant communities from all over the world. And so just taking a short walk from campus, you can be finding different global communities and engaging with them, learning from them, being in community with them. So that's definitely something that we like to highlight, and that you don't necessarily have to go very far to get a different perspective or worldview. And then the last piece is our campus. And what we mean by that is that we have a population of international students from all over the world who come to Seattle U to study for their 4 years. So to get their degrees. And so that means, you'll have students from all over the world in your classrooms, potentially as your roommate in the residence hall, a friend that you might make at a student club or something. So there's lots of opportunities to meet other people, not just from around the US, but also from around the world. And so that kind of helps to internationalize our campus in a way that provides different perspectives, worldviews, cultures. And so there's lots of opportunities to learn from that just by being at SU, even though we hope you do study abroad.
Great, thanks, Dario. So now we'll talk a little bit about the benefits of education abroad. Obviously, you're in this session, you're interested in figuring out whether education abroad is the right fit for you. But there are great benefits that come with education abroad, not just going abroad at all, but like there are other components that are part of it that can make it a more worthwhile experience than just going abroad. So something we really do emphasize is the experiential and comparative learning. So you are able to take what you're studying here in the US and compare it to another location abroad. For example, we have programs in environmental studies where you can study the ecosystems in the tropics, whereas we can't do that because we're in the Pacific Northwest. So that's where you're able to kind of, if you wanted to, go get hands-on and do field work, and then as well compare different learning, what you learn in that different country. And when you come back, you're able to kind of talk about that and compare, and that could be really good later on down the road. Another good thing to include in education abroad benefits is language proficiency. We are but one country in this world, and having language proficiency can help accelerate your hiring potential in the future, because multiple languages, you're able to adapt to different countries. And in our arts and sciences modern language requirement, we do have 1 year of language. So if you wanted to fulfill that abroad, that could be a possibility. You're not restricted by the courses that we offer here. So if you wanted to choose a language of your choosing, we're happy to look at that with you. Cultural competency and humility. We often talk about, competency, how do we fit in with the world? But definitely thinking about cultural humility and getting out of that American-centric individualism and seeing how we can kind of make the world better by us kind of fitting in. When you're abroad, you're kind of in depth with new strategies of, and new challenges of what you end up encountering. So you have a better and deeper understanding of yourself, as well as the community you're in, and as well as the world. So if there's a particular issue that you are interested here in the US, you can also kind of think about how that impacts the community abroad. So I had a student who's really interested in refugee and homelessness here in the US, but they also went abroad to Spain to kind of see how the Spanish folks are kind of tackling that issue as well. So kind of you can be part of their community abroad as well. And then increasing ability to problem solve, even the little things like you being able to navigate a city, getting on a bus, getting a haircut, those are definitely challenges that you don't think you are problem solving, but you are definitely problem solving. Yeah, and then all in all of these things really do help with your professional development in the end. And so, like I gave you the example earlier, if you're an environmental studies student, you go to Costa Rica, you study Spanish, and you're kind of learning the ecosystem. That taps into all these different things that will make you more employable in the future, because you have these extra components that make you a stronger applicant. But all in all of these, we are really about empowering leaders for a just and humane world. So hopefully you can, take advantage of an education abroad opportunity to kind of empower yourself. All right. Often there are myths that come with education abroad. And so we kind of want to address these myths and kind of bust them. So these are the 4 most common myths that we hear, and that's definitely related to kind of your hesitations that you had in that Mentimeter. So the first one is education abroad isn't for me. Maybe you're thinking it doesn't fit your major. It doesn't fit, what you want to do while you're here. But we like to think that education abroad is for everyone. We have programs for STEM students. We've had athletes who went abroad. We had transfer students who went abroad. We've had students in many aspects, nursing students go abroad. It can be a little difficult, but we've had students go abroad. And so we want you to think that education abroad is a possibility if you want it to be possible. So Kirsty and I will talk to you about kind of academics and finances and stuff like that to see if we can fit it into your program. The second one is I can't be away for too long. Some students have FOMO. They want to be on campus. They want to be part of all these different things. And that definitely can be the case. So you don't want to be gone for too long. There are some programs that are shorter in length and some that are longer in length. The earliest you can go abroad is the summer after your freshman year. And we've had students go abroad as short as 10 days, 2 weeks, and as long as an academic year, and anything in between, like a quarter, a semester, 2 semesters, or 2 quarters. It really depends on what you want to do. We can do a combination of different things, and we've had students do multiple programs. So if that fits into your academic plan, we can definitely puzzle piece it and work it out. But yeah, lots of options. This one is definitely a big hesitation amongst our students is, it won't count towards the credits you'll need. You're not going to graduate on time, but that is definitely not the case. There are general electives depending on your major. And so talking to your academic advisor and figuring out which general electives you want to save. There are some classes that you can take that are maybe very unique to that particular country that you can't take here at SU, and you really want to take it. That could count as a general elective. That language requirement I talked about. So arts and sciences has that 1-year language requirement. If you would like to take it in Korean or Italian, you can definitely do that abroad in a semester length. We'll just find a program that works for that. But if you are deciding to, for language requirement, if you are majoring and minoring in French or Spanish, you have to study abroad. So that's another part of it. And then, so that's the major minor courses, but we also look at other major minor courses, such as Albers classes or business classes or STEM classes, science and engineering, math, and stuff like that, as well as arts and science classes. So there's definitely lots of classes out there. And then finally, the UCORE Module 3 that Dario had mentioned, that has global challenges component. And so generally our students are taking a combination of these types of classes. So that's where Kirsty and I come in, and we, work with you to figure out what you need. But we also work in tandem with your academic advisor as well, so that we're all on the same page and we can all find a program that works for you. And finally, it's more expensive than being on campus. That can be true, but it can also not be true, right? Depending on the programs you choose. So Dario, could you click one more? There are a wide range of programs that we have, ranging from being less expensive than SU, about the same as SU, and more expensive than SU. So yes, there are definitely programs that are more expensive. But with the programs that we have on our list, there are some programs where you can use all of your financial aid, SU aid, and federal and state aid if you have that. We have education abroad scholarships that we promote as well. And then if you plan early, that personal contribution where you can kind of, have some extra fun spending money. So there's definitely a lot of components that go into it. Definitely finances is a big aspect of it. Once you've picked a program, we have budget worksheets that go into great detail of kind of what you would be spending overall. So we do a little budgeting as well, which also counts as a good life skill. So all in all, great learning experiences. But yeah, we're here to help with all of these things. And yes, feel free to pop questions into the chat. We will address them as we go.
I think there was a question, Jen, about language requirements. So I can
Yeah.
just address that, or if you want to.
Yeah. So the question is, for language requirements, does simply being there for a study abroad count, or do you need to take language courses while abroad? There are some programs that are intensive language programs. So yeah, you have to study the language and have 1 year of proficiency in order to complete this requirement. So for example, the one in Korea, it is an intensive Korean language studies that you would do, but you can also take additional kind of electives that kind of fulfill other things, maybe your UCORE or your major requirements. And then the other question is, and does financial aid we get applied to study abroad? Depends on the program, but we have more than 100 programs where your SU aid and federal and state aid could apply.
Which is a great segue into this map, because on this map, anywhere where you see a colored dot is a place where SU has had a program where you can use your aid. So once you start meeting with us, we have a Canvas course that you'll join that has kind of Education Abroad 101 that will go much more in depth on what these different program types are. We don't have time today to get necessarily into the weeds, but we have different program types Faculty-led programs, those are led by SU professors. SU exchanges, those are universities abroad where students from that university come to Seattle U and we send students to that university just as a swap. SU sponsored our programs that are through study abroad companies that have programs all over the world, and we have a list of about 80 programs through those external companies that are considered sponsored, which means that if you choose to go on one of those programs, you get to use your aid. And then short-term faculty-led, those are similarly led by SU professors, but they're just for a short period of time. So maybe a couple weeks over the summer or over spring break or winter break. This list changes sometimes from year to year, but the large majority of them stay the same. So there's tons and tons of options. If you don't see anything on this list that is interesting to you, or you're meeting with us and you just want to explore outside programs, maybe you came in with a very specific university that you're wanting to go abroad and we don't have it on our list. SU students can do any accredited program abroad. It's just considered what we call non-SU programs, so you're not able to use your aid towards those programs, but there's still a ton of options that you can use all of your aid towards the cost. All right, we're going to give you a little bit of a whirlwind tour to highlight some of those program options, just a little bit of a taste of different programs offered in each region. So a program that we want to highlight in Sub-Saharan Africa is a program in Kenya. This is through an organization called SIT, which stands for the School for International Training. We have a number of SIT programs on our list of sponsored programs. SIT is really known for being very experiential programs. So students are doing field work, either research or internships as part of their experience, and they're really immersed in the local community, living with homestays and doing a lot of kind of site visits, very, very hands-on. This particular program's focus is on global health and human rights. So that's the umbrella topic, but then students, it's very interdisciplinary. You come in with whatever major you have, and then your research or internship will kind of be niche to your particular interest of what you're doing there. On the bottom of the screen, it shows sample ISPs. ISP is the Independent Study Project. So this is if you decided to do research instead of an internship, you could choose the topic of that. And these are just some examples of internship or field research topics that students have done in the past. I studied abroad on an SIT program in Madagascar and loved it. So really happy to talk about what the ISP experience is like and that experiential learning. All right, the Beijing Center. This is a program that is in Beijing. It's a Jesuit program based on a local university campus, the University of International Business and Economics. Your coursework are with other students at the Beijing Center, so your classes are really geared towards international students learning about China. There's coursework in a ton of different disciplines, including business. This one also offers courses that are very similar to our UCORE Module 3 classes, those global challenge courses. So a lot of students knock out the UCOREs as part of this. Of course, they also have Chinese language, either intensive or just kind of moderate level at your language level, offering for students who haven't taken any Chinese up to more advanced levels. A very popular part of this program is that every semester they offer an excursion, a 2-week-long excursion that generally happens at the very beginning of the program that serves kind of as an orientation, as well as accredited experience. And the majority of our students go abroad during fall semester, and the excursion for that is along the Silk Road in China. Students spend 2 weeks traveling along the Silk Road and really get to see the very, very wide diversity of topography and ethnicity and language in China as part of that experience. They also offer an optional internship course that you can do if that is something that you want to prioritize. And then we have a little video to highlight some program or a program that has options in Europe that we can show now. And I think we might need to share audio.
Sorry, I'm trying to remember how to make it share audio.
Try the more button.
Ah, yes. Okay, there we go. Thank you for your patience.
Hi, I'm Lauren.
Hi,
Go back and restart.
Hi, my name is Michelle.
My name is Eftisam.
Hi, I'm Lauren.
Hi, I'm Fritz.
I'm Katie, and I'm studying on CIEE's Open Campus Block program.
With CIEE's Open Campus Block program, the world is my classroom. I was able to study in Berlin, London, and Rome, all in one semester. I stood at the steps of the Colosseum, traced my hand on the bricks of the Berlin Wall, and got a whole new perspective on England from the London Eye. Almost every day, I explored an architectural masterpiece, immersed myself in local culture, or discovered a new part of the city. All were transformed into my lecture hall. And CIEE's global institutes are located in the heart of the city with awesome facilities and access to everything I need. In one semester, my passport is stamped with the places from my bucket list, customized to me. I chose my own classes, and I was even able to do an internship. Plus, exploring new cities on excursions with my classmates created experiences that I'll never forget.
For 6 weeks, I was a student of the world.
The Open Campus program has given me an opportunity to experience the world in one semester.
So this one actually has kind of opportunities outside of Europe as well. This is a very unique program in that it offers the opportunity to study in multiple locations. You don't have to, you can do your whole experience in one location or up to 3. So CIEE breaks up a normal semester into 3 6-week blocks. So students can either do 2 blocks for a 12-week quarter, which is it's rarer to find actually quarter length programs. So this is one that offers that, where you could go fall quarter, winter quarter, or spring quarter. Or you can do 3 6-week blocks for an 18-week semester, which I think there is a question in the chat about how semester works with quarter or quarter school. For fall semester, you are just gone for a longer period of time than our fall quarter. So a quarter at SU is 11 weeks, 10 weeks of instruction plus a week of finals. And then a semester is anywhere from 15 to 20 weeks. It kind of varies. So fall semester generally just starts earlier, maybe August, and then will end later than SU does for fall quarter. We end towards the beginning of December. Fall semester programs tend to end mid to late December. And then you come back to SU for winter quarter without any problem. You will get way more credits than you would for fall quarter at SU. So that can be a boost in credits for students. We do have some folks decide to go spring semester, which aligns with both SU's winter and spring quarters. So you're gone for both quarters, and you will get less credits than you would if you were at SU for 2 full quarters. We'll talk more about that in the academic planning that we'll do when we meet with you to get more into the specifics, but there are some quarter length options as well. This particular program is offered in the summer as a non-SU program. We don't have very many sponsored programs over the summer. That might be changing while you're here at SU. We could have a lot more. That's kind of a new territory for us. But the kind of hallmark of a sponsored program is that you get to use your SU scholarships and grants. And most students don't receive SU scholarships and grants over the summer. So sometimes non-SU is the best route for students at that time. So you can go all over the world. You can stay in one location that they have, or you can switch between the 6-week blocks to be able to have that comparative experience of studying your particular field, like business or environmental studies in 2 or 3 different locations for that to really enrich that. All right, and then Latin America, we have another video to highlight.
¡Vacílalo, rumbero!
All right, so this is a program in Colombia, in Barranquilla. This is a different structured program than ones that we've talked about previously. This is actually a program that is just at a local university. So you are enrolling and taking courses alongside Colombian students and international students as well. And they actually have a lot of coursework in English. So this is a good option for a lot of different majors, including STEM fields with coursework in English. But then they also have a lot more coursework in Spanish. So you can do Spanish language classes, culture, history classes, or if you are coming in with a lot of Spanish already and you want to take more kind of thematic classes to your major, like psychology or even mathematics, you could do those things in Spanish with local students for a really kind of immersive, more of a challenging experience. All right. And then the Middle East, we have another video. So this is a program in Morocco, in Rabat. It's a different structure altogether than what we've talked about as well. This program, IES, is a study abroad company that has a study center right in the heart of the city, in the old part of the city. And then they also partner with a local university, Mohammed V, where you can additionally take classes there. So you can take both classes at their study center with other students on the program and courses at the university with local students. They also offer an optional internship course if that's interesting to you. And they have coursework in a lot of different disciplines. This is definitely good for students who are interested in Arabic, minoring in Arabic, or just doing Arabic as one of for your modern language requirement if you're in the College of Arts and Sciences. They also have coursework for French. So if you're a French minor or French major, or again, just want to do that for your College of Arts and Sciences requirement, you can do that. But you don't actually have to have any language, foreign language study to do this program. You can take all of your coursework in English, except you do have to take Arabic as part of that. And so if you, again, want to do that for your modern language requirement, you could do that too. This one has a lot of excursions built into the program, and a highlight for students definitely is they do a excursion to the Sahara Desert where students ride camels and camp. So that's definitely a highlight. And then Oceania, this is a program that we have in Australia. This is an exchange program. So students from Australian Catholic University come to Seattle U, and then we send students to Australian Catholic University in exchange. All your coursework is in English. They have campuses in multiple cities in Australia, and so you can pick the campus based on your interest of where you want to be, as well as which campus offers the coursework that's most aligned with what you're needing to take. They have coursework in a ton of different disciplines. This is one for a lot of majors at SU. They also offer an optional internship, and they've suspended it for the past couple of years because of the pandemic, but it might be coming back where they have an option to start even earlier if you're doing their fall semester and go in July and get some extra credits that way. A cool thing about Australia, which is unique, is that when you go to a different country, sometimes you need to get a visa to be there as a student, permission from that country to stay there for a long period of time. And most often that visa doesn't allow you to work in the country. You go as a student, but in Australia, you're actually able to work as a student in Australia. And so lots of students go there and get jobs on campus or in the city to be able to help get some extra spending money while you're in the country. And all of these programs that we've highlighted, sponsored, exchange, faculty-led programs, all the ones on our list, they are programs that are through trusted partners. They've been vetted for student health and safety. We also talk a lot about health and safety as students are preparing to go abroad and in our pre-departure orientation. So if you have questions about that, happy to talk more. All right, so finding a program. Jen and I are here to help you, and Dario as well, as you're exploring programs. Part of the process will be one of your first steps is to actually meet with us for a planning meeting where we'll go more in depth on how to find a good fit program. But if you're just chomping at the bit to start doing this on your own, we wanted to show you how to do it so you can start exploring. There's a part of our website. I'm going to start sharing my screen now so I can show you. And we'll put this link in the chat too. So this is our main website. If you haven't been here before, there's a whole bunch of lots of resources. The first thing you'll do is go to For Students. There will be a link here to sign up for our Canvas course, which is the first step in the process. And there's Education Abroad 101. But then to explore programs, we go Explore. There's information about the different program types, as I was mentioning. We have sponsored, exchange, non-SU, faculty-led. That's a lot of just kind of titles. But to get to the real meat and potatoes, we just go search programs here. And this is a search function where you can use different search fields to get a more nuanced narrowing down of programs beyond just location or major. So field of study, this indicates that historically the program has offered coursework in this particular major. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has a lot of courses in that major, so you'll still want to cross-list that term that you're wanting to go abroad to ensure that there are courses that you're interested in taking and that will fulfill requirements for your major. But this is a good place to start, so you can start narrowing down by different things like, let's do, for example, we'll just do business administration. And then you can also search by features. We'll talk more about what these different features mean when we meet with you in a more full sense. But some things that you could filter by would be, if it's really important to you that you're at a local university, enrolling at a host university, you could search by that. If you want to look at programs that don't have any language prerequisites, if you haven't studied a foreign language or you're not really wanting to necessarily study another language abroad, you could search by that. You can search by programs that have research. So lots of different fields that you can search here. If it's taking courses with local students, you can do that. You can search by program type. Depending on what you're interested in. If you really want to do an exchange program, for example, a benefit of doing an exchange is that there are students from that university at our university generally at any given time, so you can meet folks who are going to be at that university. And exchanges tend to require a lot more independence than some of the programs where you have more support built in, like going through a sponsored or faculty-led program. You have a whole team of folks supporting you while you're there. So if you're wanting more support, you may want to just focus only on SU sponsored programs. You can search by a particular region. So if we'd say, for example, Latin America, you can search if there's a particular language that you're wanting to take. So let's say Spanish, it will narrow it down. And then in the program fee section, if you decide that you don't even want to look at programs that have a program fee higher than a particular amount, you can just start using this little guy here to narrow it down, and then it will show you all the programs that are under that price point. So I'll just show you as an example. We'll look at this is a different one than we highlighted previously. This is a program in Chile, in Valparaiso. This is an SU-sponsored program, which means that it's through a study abroad company that SU partners with. In this case, it's a company called CEA. They have staff in country there to support you, but then you're taking courses at a local university, either taking courses with Chilean students in advanced Spanish or taking courses that are more geared towards international students and language learners, where you have courses in Spanish and culture and history type classes. This also gives you a little bit of an overview of the program in terms of the cost. So it shows you what the program fee is. This for sponsored programs refers to the cost that you pay in addition to SU tuition. So you pay 1/4 of SU tuition plus this program fee. But most of the time, this program fee includes all of your housing expenses. So we have these more detailed budget worksheets that you can look at that give a more nuanced understanding of what that program fee includes. It shows you what the cost, this column here is what the cost of the education abroad program is. And this column on the far right is what your expenses would be if you didn't study abroad during that same period of time. So in this case, fall quarter. So you can get a side-by-side comparison, filling out here, more customizing this to you, housing expenses, what you pay to live on campus, for example, versus this program housing is included in that $2,000 program fee. So this is one that actually probably ends up being more affordable than being at SU for most students, because housing meal costs are generally more than $2,000 for most students. And then there's also a section here for financial aid where you can put in all of your aid. And again, when you meet with us, we'll go through this more in depth, but just showing you as a resource where you can start doing that even now. And then most programs also generally have a video where you can see a little highlight, a map where you can zoom in to see where it's located and start exploring the area. And then some important links. Apply now. This will get you to the application, which is housed in our Canvas course. To access the application, you do have to complete some steps in Canvas first before this opens up for you. And then there's also a link to the program website. In this case, it's CEA. That's the company that runs the program. This external website will give you much more information. You can start looking through courses. You can start looking at the housing. You can start looking at excursions. You can reach out to them and get in contact with a student who's done the program to start really kind of get in contact with someone to learn about what it would be like. So lots more resources there. All right. I think I'm going to give it back to Dario to share screen. We have a little activity that we're going to do. All right. So I believe in the chat, you will have the link to that search page. And we're going to send you on an exploratory mission to try and find where Rudy Redhawk is studying abroad. I'm going to give you clues to where Rudy is in the world on clues to the particular program. And you can use those search functions to try and find the program. When you think that you have the program in mind, put the name of the program in the chat or unmute yourself. And we're going to be giving away some raffle entries today for people who get this correct. In the fall, we'll have an event, our Global Street Fair, that we'll share information about right at the end of our time today. But during that event, we have lots of great raffle prizes. So today, participation in this event will help you have more entries at the raffle during that. So our first set of clues. So make sure you have the search page open and you're ready to start exploring. This is a program that has coursework for environmental studies. I'll put these in the chat too. It also is a program that has research opportunities. It's a program where you can take courses in Spanish. And it is in a country that is the first country in the world to include the rights of nature in its constitution. All right, if anyone has found it yet. Ecuador, yeah. So the program that we're looking at, we can show you, is a program in Ecuador. Yay! We will give you a raffle ticket into the pot for you. This is a program called the International Development Program in Ecuador. It's through actually what MSID stands for. This is kind of random, Minnesota Studies in International Development. It's part of the University of Minnesota. They have a program in Ecuador, and they also have a very similar program in Senegal, where you are taking courses in academic tracks that you're interested in. So environmental studies is one of those tracks that you can take. And then you're taking kind of thematic courses around that particular field of interest. And then you do an internship or research related to that particular field. Awesome work. All right, I think we are going to keep moving just to make sure that we end on time. But thanks for taking part in that activity. We're going to show you some next steps now.
Okay, so for those of you wanting to continue your journey to studying abroad on one of our programs, wanted to highlight some next steps so you have an idea of what to do next. So we've mentioned it a couple times, but the first step would be to join our Canvas course. And so you can request that on our website. We'll also have a printout of all of the folks who attended today. And so we can follow up via email if that's easier. And so this will get you on track. The very first thing you'll complete is Education Abroad 101. So you'll do that by clicking on Module 1. It'll guide you through some informational pages, talk more in depth about finances, the different terms, credits, all of that stuff. So definitely super helpful. And we'll, oh, I'm not showing my screen. There we go. Yes, join Canvas course, then do Education Abroad 101. This is a screenshot of what that will look like more or less to you. And so then module 1 is the first step to do 101. After you complete Education Abroad 101, it will then allow you to schedule a planning meeting with Jen or Kirsty. So like you said, it's based off of your last name. And so that is a planning session that's a little bit longer. It's scheduled for usually about an hour. And they will go into even more depth about how you can continue figuring out what program makes the most sense for you. They'll talk about things like the budgets more in depth, things that you can talk to with your parents or your family members who might be supporting you, as well as talking to your academic advisor, which would be the next step, step 4. So we have a general sense of kind of different university requirements and some of the different requirements for different majors and minors. But your academic advisor will actually be your go-to for your entire time at SU to figure out what courses you need to take for your degree, for your major or your minor. And so they are great partners that we work with. So it's kind of a joint effort between us and the information that we have in our office, as well as the information that you receive and work with your academic advisor. So kind of a team of folks that really make this happen. And so that's what we mean when we say talk to your academic advisor. And then, again, wanted to highlight our Global Street Fair. So it is coming up on October 10th, which is a Tuesday from 11:30 to 1:30 in the Library Plaza. So if you've had the opportunity to come to SU, you likely know where the library is and where the Student Center is. And so this happens right outside of the library in that big open space. And so we invite our study abroad partners that we work with to come and share information about their programs. But then we also share different other international focused organizations on campus. So different student clubs that are international focused. We invite academic departments that have a international focus. So all things global, we try and celebrate and highlight. We have food, we have big raffle giveaways like we talked about. Music, activities, a ton of artists each year. So super fun event. So mark your calendars and join us on October 10th. And so that pretty much puts us at time. But if there are any questions that folks may have, you can feel free to pop them in the chat right now or unmute yourself. The three of us have some time after this, so we're happy to stay on. But then if you do need to leave, please connect with us. This is information for our website as well as our email. And then also our Connect SU page, which is something you'll hopefully be learning about, but that's where we can find your different events all around campus, but we have a page there as well for our events. And then our social media platforms, the two that we use most are Instagram and Facebook. So we'd love to get more followers on that, just so that you can see that we highlight different programs, different events, scholarships. So a good quick way to just stay in the loop with what's going on with us. So thank you again for attending our session. We're really excited to welcome you to SU in just a couple short months. So yeah, if you need to go, no worries, but we'll continue to answer questions that might come up in the chat. So when should I start planning for this education abroad if I want to go for the summer after freshman year or the fall quarter of my sophomore year? We would love to meet with you fall quarter. This is your first fall quarter. Just because it can take a bit of time to plan these things out, and the more time we have, the more time we have to navigate different obstacles, whether that's academic obstacles, financial obstacles, all of these different things. So if you're thinking, yeah, that soon, definitely come and talk to us fall quarter, attend some of our events that we have. It's a good way to get connected with us.
I'll just add to that another incentive to meet with us in the fall. If you're thinking about going abroad fall of your sophomore year, a lot of our programs are sponsored and exchange programs. The deadline to apply for fall 2024 would be February 1st of 2024. So that's right in the kind of middle of winter quarter of this year. So if you're already meeting with us fall quarter, that means you have enough time to really discern a good fit program before February 1. That deadline in winter quarter, so you're not scrambling, and you just will be able to find a really good fit program by then. If you're not sure when you're wanting to go abroad, I would still recommend earlier, depending on your major. Sometimes it does require more planning, even starting towards the beginning of your time at SU. Some majors are a little bit more flexible, so it's less important that you get in right away. But my recommendation would just be, when you meet with your academic advisor for the first time, if you haven't met with them already, or the next time you meet with them, bring up your interest in studying abroad, and they will also probably give you recommendations of when the best time to go abroad for you is within your academic plan. So it might be earlier than you think. Sometimes students come in with the idea that like junior year is the best time to go abroad, but depending on your major, sometimes it could be your sophomore year or maybe your senior year. So your academic advisor will also be a really great resource in helping you plan that. All right. Well, like Dario said, we'll hang out a little bit if you have questions, but nice to see you all. And thanks for coming. Hope to see you more in the fall.